All right, in this video, I want to cover the exact objection that is costing your practice thousands of dollars every single month. And your front desk probably really doesn't know what to do with this objection or what to say. They just kind of let the person hang up. And that is the I need to think about it objection. And so here's exactly what you're going to learn in this video. I'm going to cover one, how do you even just prevent this objection from happening altogether? That's usually the best way to handle these. And then I'm going to give you exactly what I say to prospects when they say that on the phone so that I can prevent them from hanging up the phone, right? And just kind of click and you're like, all right, I'm lost. And then the third thing I'm going to do is exactly how to get this person from, hey, I need to think about it to, hey, let's get you scheduled. And they ultimately want to schedule and want to come in for that first initial evaluation. So this is the exact framework I'm using in my cash-based physical therapy practice. This is exactly what I'm teaching all of our private coaching clients as well, so that they have a step-by-step process. And you're going to have that by the end of this video, a step-by-step process, exactly how to close more of these patients on the phone so that your team isn't super confused and you're not exactly sure where to go from here. Now, what is this objection, right? This I need to think about it objection. I think a lot of people have no idea what to do with it. They don't know what to say. They kind of just leave it as is, right? And every team that I've ever talked to, or if I've done a secret caller to into a clinic, a secret shopper call, if I say this, they have no idea what to say. I've never had anybody in all my years of doing this actually have a framework for being able to handle it. And so that's the first big problem is you got to have something to say, right? And you need to know how to overcome it if it does come up. But the best thing to do is actually preventing this from showing up altogether. And the reason it's happening is because your client, as they're talking to you on the phone, and you go to ask for money, is they don't know you, they don't like you, or they don't trust you enough just yet. And the reason they don't do that is because the phone call was too light on value and too light on actually digging deeper into what it is that the client was reaching out for. And here's what most of your first phone calls sound like. It's, hey, what's your name? What's your date of birth? What do you have going on? Or what are you coming in for? Or what are you calling for? And then you spend the next 3 to 5 minutes either getting them scheduled or you'll just ramble on about what it is you guys do, why you're the best, why you charge what you charge. And then you'll kind of leave it to a coin toss at the end of that phone call. Well, yeah, I'm open to them coming, or hey, no, I need to think about it, and you just roll with it. Or every once in a while, every blind squirrel finds a nut sometimes, and that person will ultimately schedule. But if you're too light on value on the phone and you didn't dive in deep enough, you're going to miss these. You're going to get these objections a lot more. And I know we get a lot less of them in our practice, and I know our clients are getting a lot less of them in the clinic as well because their phone calls have enough value. And this is even the case for our like cold traffic that we have, our Facebook ads, that we're running Google ads as well. Now, I won't say that doesn't happen 100% of the time. It still does happen. That's where having a framework is great. But ultimately, we've cut down on these from happening tenfold because we're having the right conversations with patients. And so instead of us having a 3 to 5 minute phone conversation with patients, I ultimately want to be having a 15 plus minute phone conversation with patients. Now, that depends on your price point, if you're selling packages, those kind of things. But if your phone call is only 3 to 5 minutes long and you're $200 plus a session and you're selling $2,000 care plans or packages or plans of care, you're going to have a hard time. Can getting this person even to come in, you're going to have a hard time for them converting actually in the clinic as well once they come in. And so that's where I like our phone conversations to be 10, 15 plus minutes long. And ultimately, I want that conversation to be uh, the front desk asking questions and the prospect or the patient actually doing most of the talking. Most of the time, we have that flip flopped. The front desk talks and just mows over the person. They don't know what else to say because your front desk has been mowing them over for the last 3 minutes about what it looks like to work with you and why you're the best or whatever gadget you have. And then you get to the end and they're just like, I just need to think about it. And it's like they just said that because they didn't know what else to say. You didn't give them a word in edgewise. And so this is where having some frameworks and some scripts about what questions to ask, how to dive in deep, what are the goals of your first initial phone conversation. You need to have those accomplished before you actually move into the kind of closing pitch or talking about price. But if you talk about price without providing value, there's no way that person is going to want to come in. It's the same thing as you showing up to a car dealership lot and they try to sell you the most expensive luxury brand vehicle, and you were in there just for a mid-grade model, right? A typical vehicle. And they're trying to sell you on the upsell vehicle, but because they didn't provide enough value or talk about what it is you were looking for and try to match those needs, there's no way you want to pay that, right? And ultimately you'll just leave, right? And that's the same thing's happening on these phone calls. Is there wasn't enough value provided, there wasn't enough demonstration of, hey, like this is what I can actually help you with, and them verbalizing, the prospective client verbalizing what it is that they needed. And in an example of physical therapy, it is, hey, I've got knee pain. But it's not just about pain. It's that knee pain's keeping me from working out, and working out's important to me because it helps me. Maybe I was on a weight loss journey. For me personally, it helps me stay stress free, right? Whatever it is for your ideal client, whatever problem it is that you help them solve, you need to be able to dig into that on the phone call. And most of your front desk are not doing that. They're talking to them for 3 to 5 minutes. They're giving them the price when they ask about it. And then now that person is ultimately out the back door. And again, price without value, you're going to miss 100% of the time. And that's where having frameworks, scripts, all that good stuff, and having lengthy phone conversations actually get you to the next step. And if you need scripts, you need proven frameworks. We have all of that in our Skool community. You can catch the link to that below. And then ultimately, you can actually direct message me in a Skool community, and I'll be happy to take a look at either your script or tag you in that exact training as well. Now, again, value based conversation. Let me get the prospect to actually know, like, and trust me and actually see that I'm on their side. And once they ultimately see that, then at that point we can move into the closing pitch, right? Where you talk about price, talk about what it looks like to work with you, what's a typical care plan look like. Don't drop the price, of course, but at least give them a framework and warm them up to the idea of it. Then at that point we can, move into the closing pitch. And then let's say at that point you've done everything you could. You've had a great phone conversation with them. They felt very connected. The person sounded bought in, and now you get the "I need to think about it" objection. All right, that's cool. It happens, right? I mean, especially if you're running Facebook ads, or maybe somebody just said, "Hey, you should give these guys a call." People tend to bring this up more during the holidays for whatever reason. And now, what I'm wanting to do is, how do I handle it, right? I need to have a framework, because most people, what do? I need to think about it. Okay, well, just call me if you need me, and then they hang up, right? It's like, oh, I cringe every time I hear it, because I'm just like, I need to have some frameworks and some ways to handle this. And my favorite way to handle this, and this is literally word for word script, is I always acknowledge whatever objection they have first. Don't be a jerk and be like, "Well, you can't afford to not to think about it and not come in. You've been dealing with this for so long, yada yada." Now you sound like a pushy car salesman, right? And so in this particular situation, I like to acknowledge it. Hey, totally get it that you want to think about it. What was it in particular that you were wanting to think about? And now just kind of leave a second of pause, because they'll kind of be caught off guard a little bit, right? It's called a pattern interrupt, right? And that pattern interrupt is a fantastic way, because they think you're just going to hang up the phone, for you to try to understand what's going on in their mind. And that's all this is, right? I just need to know what it is they're thinking about, is because it's a smoke screen objection. And the "I need to think about it" objection is, they don't know you, they don't like you, they don't trust you just yet, and they don't know what else to say. They just want to get off the phone with you, and this is the easiest thing that they know to say. And so use that framework, and usually the next thing that comes out of their mouth, that's the actual exact objection that you're looking for right there. And so now I need to think about it. Oh, what was it that you were wanting to think about? And they'll tell you. Well, I was hoping to talk to my spouse, or hey, I was needing to, it's just kind of a lot of money, or I was going to call a couple other places and see what they were doing as well. And again, all that stuff tells you exactly what's going on, right, or exactly what's in their mind. And now I need to have a framework to be able to handle that actual objection, right? I've got the smoke screen out of the way. Now I need to handle the true objection. And let's say it's insurance, or let's say it's money. My favorite question to ask to them at that point is, I need to actually handle the objection. That's the step, right? Because most of the team, they'll just hang up, right? Or maybe not even get to this step. Okay, like, money aside or insurance aside, is there any other reason why you wouldn't want to move forward with this today? And sometimes you'll get a different answer, and that's the true objection. Or sometimes they're just like, "Hey, no, it's just money," or "Hey, it's the holidays, it's a little tight right now," or "Yeah, I just kind of hoping to use my insurance." Okay, well, if there's no other reason why, and you like the way that it looks like to work with us, then um, uh, why don't we talk about? We're running a holiday special right now, and that's something that we can absolutely offer to you. Is that something that would be interesting to you? And oftentimes, if it is truly cost and insurance, and it comes down to that, right? You've handled the objection, and that's ultimately the exact thing. Then now maybe I offer them a downsell, right? And so pattern interrupt, handle the objection, and then the final phase of this is, hey, let me come up with some creative offer to actually take this person from unsure to sure. And we teach all of our clients as well as my admin, like if somebody sounds like a good fit, they're active, they've got pain's been going on for a little while, they're not a tire kicker, they're not somebody who's just trying to come in for one session and leave, then I'll actually incentivize them to give some type of downsell or offer some other thing. Some of you guys will do free discovery visits. I don't love doing free discovery visits just because I think again, you kind of attract the wrong type of clientele. But ultimately, I'll do a downsell to our discounted eval. Our usual prices are 225, but we do have a Facebook voucher that or Facebook discount that we typically run, and it's $67. And I'll actually say that to them. Hey, like, look, if it is truly just cost and insurance, I know we can help you, and if I'm able to give you some type of discount on the first session, would that actually make you interested in wanting to come in for the first initial evaluation? And 9 times out of 10, people are ecstatic about that. They're like, yeah, it sounds great. It allows them to kind of try your service, if you will, without losing them and alienating them. And I like doing that because I know our customer acquisition costs. I know what our lifetime value is, which is sometimes in that $1,800 to $2,000 range. And so I know if I get that person in the door, we have a lot of value that's going to come to the practice and that person's life by getting them on the books. And so I love doing the downsell with people. And oftentimes it's enough to tip them over the edge. Now, again, don't do this with tire kickers. Don't do this with somebody who doesn't sound like a good fit. Or again, don't offer this to somebody if you didn't actually handle the objection appropriately. If you didn't handle the objection and they just gave you the cost and insurance objection, but that also was a smokescreen, it doesn't matter what discount you give them. I mean, you can give it to them for free basically, and they're not going to want to come in. So it's key that you do truly have that framework and you're having the right conversation with them about it. So that's exactly how I handle these, right? It's prevent them altogether. That's the best possible way to handle the objection. The next one is use a pattern interrupt and handle the objection. If you need any of those frameworks, they're listed in the Skool community. And then lastly, let me offer them some type of downsell to get them in. Now, if you're offering too many downsells, then we have a first phone call issue. Let's go back and listen to that. But that's exactly how I like to handle these objections. If you need more and other ways to handle objections or talk to patients on the phone, or if you just need help with your front desk altogether, I would love if we started up a conversation. We can start a conversation in the Skool community, or you can check out some other videos that we have provided by just clicking the next button. Talk soon.